Now, what you just noted there, it's a sign of new things into the new year of 2023. Hello and welcome. Beautiful stuff, because this is Temidlalo. The show is still yours. The name is still yours, but a lot of changes, as we are going to notice, even around my surrounding, just to see how things have changed from the previous year. Otherwise, just to let you know that to you as a viewer, it's a chance to once again say compliments to the season and to once again usher you into the 2023. We saying that we hope that you had a beautiful period of festive season, and that we wish you all the best coming to the 2023 year period. Calendar of activities, of course, has started. As you can see, we're in the studio and we're ushering you into the new year. Beautiful programs are going to be displayed, a beautiful guest, and everyone that has to do with the sporting activities, they are going to be back here to give you updates, and also to talk about different events, different dilemmas, different concerns, investigative stories. All those are going to be here. As you just noted, that now changes shows that there is the people who are in charge of this program, and of course it hasn't changed. I still have my reliable analyst Linda Dlamini, who later on will be joining me, beg your pardon, just to make sure that you get all the latest information pertaining to sporting activities. What a year it's going to be. Just to let you know that we're about to get into the beautiful things, best things that we've ever had since this show. The show that is celebrating more than 12 years since it's existing live here on Eswatini TV. We can't wait. Now, just to begin things, I will also once again remind you that there's a change. You're wondering what's happening now. It's a new year, so now we're seated. So having seated the whole year 2022, Safagum. But now we're seated, we're comfortable, as you are also comfortable in your seat at home. So we're making sure that we give you everything live here on Eswatini TV. 3 ways that you can watch us. It is through our school channel as you are home, and you can also watch us through YouTube channel, and also through the Eswatini TV app. Today's program will begin with golf as a sport. Earlier on, they had a tournament for juniors, junior golf tournament, where we had 2 winners, 2 brothers, the Mhlanga brothers. They were the winners of the tournament. So we get the reactions as they're going to be in the studio, just to give us how they're looking to start the new year on a high note, as also they'll be here in the studio. And later on, of course, we have the coach, their coach, Meshak Zwane. He's going also to give us an information on how, talk about juniors, how you develop them from where they are to become, professional golfers. And later on, and of course, from the visuals you can see, we'll get the results and see those who outshined others in the tournament that was displayed earlier on. On the picture, of course, in the black t-shirt, that should be one of the Mhlanga brothers, who's going to be here in the studio to tell you the story, what makes them the best as far as they're concerned. Otherwise, Linda Dlamini, our in-house analyst, at some point will join me just to discuss a few things, and also to welcome you and usher you into the new year. He's going to help me to talk about these new changes that you're noticing. But for now, let me just take a moment and welcome the Mhlanga brothers. And these 2 young men are the sons of the well-known Welcome Mhlanga, the Eswatini Principal Association president. So he's a familiar face in the school area. Those who talk about school issues, and if you have kids and they go to school, you should know Babe Mhlanga, Welcome Mhlanga. So the 2 sons from the far right, on my right, that is Specific Mhlanga, and then in the middle I've got remind me, Mr. Mhlanga. Yeah, Sinetemba Mhlanga. So the 2 brothers, of course, were part of the junior tournament that was played earlier on at Eswatini, where we're going to get their story. He was number 1 and he was number 2. They are both under the age of 18, but I can tell you, with the stage or with the pace they are heading to, I tell you what, in the new few years, they're going to be some of the best professional golfers we've got. Look at the results so far that they got today. And number 1, Specific Mhlanga, 86, and then you've got Sinetemba Mhlanga, 89. And look at also the likes of Kizwe, Piramasugo, and all those who were there. Now, what a chance. Starting our Specific, you're the first person, the 2 of you, you're the first people to speak on A in 2023. You should just archive that. Starting with you, Mr. Mhlanga Specific. How are you?
I'm okay, and you, sir? Feeling a bit nervous, but happy to be here. Talk about golf, my favorite sport.
Talk about golf. Don't be nervous because you're only 17, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So at some point when you're 35 and you're playing in PGA Tour and you're a professional golfer, this interview, at some point you get it and you remember how you started. Sinatemp, what a good day to once again have you.
Yes, thank you for having me today. I really love the sport and I'm really passionate about it. So I really don't want to stop. I don't.
All right.
Yes.
Now, I was hoping that I would get a chance to get their father, but due to busy schedules, you understand these days what's happening with school, so he must be a busy man now. I want to talk about how you two were introduced into this sport, because now the way we are moving, oh, by the way, the way we're moving now, when you talk about the sport, we should have all the kids in the studio. Now, this is the sport we're talking about. Tell me about how you were introduced to the sport, starting with you, the firstborn, of course, of the family. How were you introduced to the sport?
So I grew up in Pixpick. Usually I had sports around me, soccer, and I used to play soccer and stopped. When I got to Mbabane, I got introduced to basketball, which I was really passionate about. But my dad started playing golf when we got to Mbabane, and I really wasn't into the sport. And one day he took me to the golf course and was like, okay, you know what, try this out. I tried it. I was like, no, it's okay. Started taking me for more practice, and I felt myself growing into the sports and loving it more.
Okay. The difference between the two of you is just 2 years. You're 17, he's 15.
Yeah.
And you challenge each other. So it means when you started playing the sport, it wasn't long after he also joined you. So both of you have now played the sport, and you're at the level where you're moving from the junior level. Sometimes you play under the senior levels. But what for you, I can hear from your brother, for you, what inspired you to say, you know what, my dad plays golf, my bigger brother plays golf, I want to join the sport?
I was really inspired by my brother. He literally pushed me to my limits and he would always nurture me into the person I am today. I can't exclude my father. He also helped me. He also helped me to play the sport in a way that I can turn pro one day, you know. I really enjoy playing with my brother and playing with other juniors. It's really nice. I really enjoy the sport, and it's flexible, you know.
That's you, right?
Yes, that's me.
Well, what's your plan? You're trying to swing, you're trying to get ready for the shot. What are you trying to do when you do that? And I think at this point in time now, you've done this countless times. Oh, what a shot.
Yes, I first have to practice swing, you know, to get my swing intact, and then I can be sure now that I can launch the ball. You know, there are some certain aspects that you have to implement, you know, like your stance, looking at the ball, you know, so yeah.
Now, specifically, I know it's not easy being a principal's son, and he also happens to be one person. I think I've had a couple of interviews with him. He looks strict when it comes to schoolwork. How do you juggle both things? I mean, golf and schoolwork. Isn't he really tough when it comes to schoolwork? Does he let you get that freedom off to play golf? Don't you get disturbed personally to say, you know what, you have to play golf and you have got assignments to deliver?
So usually we play golf on the weekend, have tournaments on Saturdays. During the week, if I'm not at school, I have time to practice. Like right now, I've been playing golf. I've played golf 5 days in a row. I started playing on Saturday till today. I've been playing golf. So when I'm not at school, I have time to practice, you know, get my swing intact, give the shots that play the shots that I'm supposed to play. But when I'm in school, it's just like I have to get in the golf course and just start playing, you know. On Saturday, swing my swing, whatever, just the fundamentals, you know, use the fundamentals to play proper golf.
Quite relaxed, that's you?
Yes, that is me.
That's your bag?
That is my bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an expensive kit. How much is it?
Recently, coach, like on Monday, I got new clubs. It's costing about $4,000. $4,000, yeah, 4 grand.
So you don't share it. Everyone has his own bag.
Yeah, everyone has their own bag. You don't share it with anyone. It's just yours.
No, I mean in this family. I'm talking about this family.
My dad.
Everyone has his own bag.
Everyone. We have extra clubs as well at home, just for when you have broken clubs, you can replace them easily.
So he buys them for you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
That's how serious he takes the sport. Now, check this out. I want to know how very smart these two Umhlanga boys are. Now, for me, being familiar with the sporting, materials and different equipments, Okay. This is getting harder than I expected. All right. These two items are different, right?
Very much different.
To you, Senatemba, just tell me, this one, it's number 8. What's the role of this number 8? Maybe if they can give me a close-up so that you can see, this one, the silver one.
You can hit it between distances, like between 130 meters and 100 meters, depending on how much power you exert on the ball, you know. Yes. And then
This one?
that it has to be a 3-wood. So a 3-wood, you can alternate. You can either hit it on the tee box. You feel like your driver is not consistent, or you can also hit it on the fairway, you know, to attack for the green sometimes, or to lay up if the meters are long. Yes.
Oh, beautiful stuff. At the age of 15, he can give you all the details about the equipment. Now, let's talk about also future plans, starting with you, the bigger brother, specific. I mean, next year, go to varsity, that's you. Probably you will have a different bag. And I've seen, all the time that I've seen you playing golf, you're always in blue. Is this your preferable maybe outfit whenever you're playing?
Let me say I like blue for golf because it matches it matches with.
Nice shot.
I love matching blue. I love blue actually. That was in a good shot. Flew over the green.
Okay, for me who's not familiar with the sport, that's a pleasure.
But this is phenomenal.
Did you have a fantastic moment with this hole?
There we are.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. We keep this for records. That's beautiful. Who are you pointing at? Is the camera person? So you knew that he got that shot.
The man behind that.
Let's take a look at that shot once again, because I've covered you a couple of times, and you always say it's disturbing when someone is playing and you bring a camera closer.
Yeah, it's a bit. It brings a bit of pressure onto the player because people are watching you play that bad shot. You know, like, oh, this guy, he's always telling us he's going to play golf, but he's doing this on the golf course. So you have that bit of pressure that my friends are going to see this, family's going to see this, you know. But all in all, it's just playing with the camera is like a bit of pressure.
What a shot. What a shot. What a shot. Wow. Tell you what, you should get this clip and post it on your socials to show that you get the best likes and the best comments from all around the world. Now, when you left the house this morning, Senatemba, did you know that he'll be up to this? Well, what was in your heart? I mean, it's a competition. It's your brother, but you came to the competition knowing that the issue of being a brother should be put aside. When you left the house, what was in your heart in the morning?
In my heart, it wasn't really about winning. It's really about the passion, you know, just getting out and enjoying the sport, enjoying playing with other juniors, you know, getting a chance to bond together. More than winning, it's very important to implement that.
Take me through this.
You have to play.
What was your plan? Did you know that it's going to get inside the hole?
I wasn't sure if it was going to get in or not.
But finally, that was close. How disappointed were you?
I wasn't that disappointed because I told myself that in golf, these things happen, you know. It's not always going to get in, but you still have time to perfect it, you know, so that next time when you have for redemption, it can actually get in. Yes.
All right. What a day it was for you. I can see that you had a couple of shots. Do you recall this moment?
Yes, I do recall this moment. Yes. I actually hit my driver shot low, but it still went. Yes.
Okay. So when with you, I think you still have a couple of years before you go to university, and I think that's also beautiful from you. What's your future plans? Do you see yourself at some point turning pro? Where do you want to take the sport before we get to your brother next to you?
Initially, I wanted to be a chartered accountant, but besides that, in my heart, I do want to turn pro, and I know that with no doubt in my mind, I can turn pro. It's just that I need to be consistent with the sport, you know, be able to balance life, be able to balance the sport. So, yeah.
He's a golfer, your father himself, Mr. Welcome specifically. And I think if we're talking about your father, you're the head of the brothers and the rest of the family. So you'll be the firstborn at some point to always explain the type of man he is. How supportive is he for you guys in terms of playing golf? And you get a moment where you sit with him and he tells you that this is what he wants you guys to do at some point when playing golf?
Very much, you know, my dad is very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
He's always there for us, taking us to tournaments, paying for our tournament green fees. When we have complaints about clubs, all of like we need new clothing for golf, he's always there for us. Actually, I can't say he's never there because there's never dull moments where there's never a moment where I remember my dad saying, "I can't do this for no good reason." If he's not there, he's not there for a good reason. Maybe he's in a meeting or doing something or out of the country, because most of the time my dad is out of the country, with work, yeah.
So, next year, varsity, right? And do you think it's going to give you more time to now play the sport? Because now you'll be under your own jurisdiction to say, you know what, at this time I can go to school, I can go to class, I have assignments or anything. Do you think that's another nice shot? Do you think now it'll give you more time to play the sport and expand and, you know, compete with some of the best with wherever you be studying and, you know, carrying on with your studies?
Well, all I can say is, right now I still do have the chance. It's just that this year I'm writing my IGCSE examinations, so I think it's gonna be a bit more on the academic side than the golf. But I'm using the time right now. I have the time right now. Before I go back to school, I've been utilizing my time, playing more. I haven't been seeing my friends a lot. I've been at the golf course trying to grind out, you know, get better results out of my golf. And I also do at some point see myself playing better golf, going low, my scores are going a bit low, you know, playing the golf that I wish and I want to play, because it's all about desire and passion at the end of the day. You know, you can't be playing mediocre golf all your life and saying, no, it's fine, you know, I'm just doing for social. It's social play, you know. Sometimes you have to fight for something, like, you know, these guys are always beating me. Let me do something about it. Give yourself time. Go to the range. Fix the aspects in your game that are off, you know. Try, push, give it an extra mile.
What a way to start the year for the two Mhlanga brothers. And of course, they were part of the tournament that played earlier on. And they were, of course, the two, you know, brothers, they were the headline of the tournament. Now, before we round up the interview, maybe, just from you, I know that you've played now for a couple of years, 6 to 7 years in the industry. What is the highest moment of your game since you started playing the game? When you sit to, you're like, you know, on this day during this tournament, I think that was the highlight of the tournament of my career.
It was when I won the SRIC tournament. I think it was in 2020. It was a hard time since there was COVID-19, but I was able to conquer. I remember that day I played gross 81. That's my lowest gross ever. And since my handicap was 20, it was subtracted from the 81, and I came out with next 61, and I was number 1. I actually felt like I redeemed myself. I felt fulfilled, you know. I feel like I can actually do something better now. It was actually a hype, so I was really happy.
All right, beautiful stuff. Now, big brother, we're about to leave, but you have a coach, right?
Yes.
I mean, his name is Meshach Zwane, right?
Yes.
How supportive is he?
I couldn't ask for anyone better to be my coach. He's the best. He's always there for us. Always makes sure we are on time. If we have any queries or problems tournament-wise, this morning I had a problem. I called him, like, Coach, I need something like that. He was there for me. He's always there for me. I always tell him when I shoot my good scores, always tell him, he's always hyping me up to do better. Always giving me that, telling me to push that extra mile. He's the best coach. I wouldn't ask for anyone else to coach me at this moment in time, because he makes me feel like I want to love the sport more and play it more.
Any role model when you play and you're like, I want to be like this golfer when I grow up?
For me, it's Dustin Johnson. I've loved him since 2016 when I started watching golf on TV. I fell in love with that guy's swing.
Dude, 2016 you were 11 years old.
I was watching golf though.
And you?
I really fell in love with Bryson DeChambeau because of his long shots. I really, you know, I find they really interest me a lot. you know, and I also want to implement that at some point.
Okay,
Yes.
beautiful stuff. Thank you very much, and we do hope that you also get better as you proceed with the sport. And let's also talk about how your father has been very supportive, and we also want him to keep doing the great job that he's doing to support the two of you, to ensure that in as much as academically you're doing well, but also ensure that you grow into the sport. And also a lot of kids out there can learn a lot from you, that you can actually do both at the same time, excel in sport and also excel in academic work. Otherwise, thank you very much to you specifically, Mplanga and Sinatemba Mplanga. We do hope once again when we have you in the studio, you'll be in the presence of your father, because there are a couple of questions I want him to answer on how other parents can learn a lot from how you've become in terms of excelling in sport. And thank you very much. It is an expensive sport, but what you've managed to do so far in the company of your father, it is quite excellent. Now, thank you very much to you for your presence, and we do appreciate you two coming here. Now, if you want to see how they managed to headline the tournament earlier on, the two of them were competing with other junior golfers in the country, and you want to see some of the best shots that you can believe that these two can pull. Even if you can put them on whatever, the best scores in the world, they can do miracles. This is some of the highlights of the event earlier on when our team was covering the event. We're back with a bang. This is still Temidlalo. Nothing has changed, and you're still with your host, Fabrice Musonera. That's a sign that I can tell you what, 2023 is going to be one of the best. In the company of Meshach Zwane, one of the best coach when you talk about this sport that we've started the year with, golf. And let me not highlight also the high-profile people that he coaches in the country, so you can understand how much he has the passion for the sport. Now, he also now is involved in developing young especially young, talented golfers. That's why when we talk about today's tournament, he was the man to ask many questions. Mr. Zwane, Sikvusere once again, and compliments of the season.
Compliments, Babe. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. They do say the season because actually the entire January is still New Year. So normal way in February. So January is still festive season. All right. Now, Mr. Zwane, there was a tournament earlier on.
Yeah.
Majority of the attendees were the juniors. Naskuluma juniors, the youngest group of golfers in the country. It's the first of its kind in this year, but not the first of its kind in the country. So far, how happy are you with the turnout in terms of attendance and in terms of the progress of these kids? And if you can remember, maybe just to give us a rough figure, how many kids attended today?
Well, today we only had 12. We had a problem actually getting the Manzini kids through. But then we felt, no, we should start because it was getting late.
Yes.
But luckily, Tuesday we're playing again, so they're coming through Tuesday.
Yes.
But I was happy, especially seeing the young ones, because when you do golf development, you're more conscious of getting the younger group through to replace the ones that are going to be actually living in the next season. So when you see the younger ones coming through, you're actually more happy. And yeah.
When I look at him, he just took a nice shot. But when I look at him, I'm giving him 14, 15. What type of age group are we talking about? Even these ones. Maybe I'm talking about 16, 17, or 18, close to 18, with the likes of specifically in the background.
Okay.
Is it the outgoing juniors? They are maybe graduating to the senior?
They're almost actually outgoing. Some of them, they're like 16, 17. Because we start from 6 to 18.
Okay.
Unfortunately, after 18, we don't get the support because I don't find it fair also that we then just suck them out of the program because most of them, they are not working.
Okay.
They are still in colleges.
Okay.
But the way the program was designed was that after 18 years, then
Yeah, on their own.
They are on their own. I think it's one thing that we need to correct, because if we're talking about developing future stars, we should have an eye throughout the years until maybe college.
I'm
Until
thinking
they
under
finish.
10, under 11, this one with the black cap.
This one, it must be 8.
These three, actually. These three.
That's Gunene and the sister Mapila and Yesive and Alwande Manyati, the little one. It's amazing. When you see them hitting the golf ball, your heart just melts, you know. You're like, wow, you know, what is happening? Talent.
Look at the shot.
It's talent.
And they love the sport.
They love the sport. You know, I'm really appealing to Swazi government. At one stage, I thought, you know what, I must just quit this thing of coaching. You know, you're looking at this young energy. When you start teaching them, they don't want to. They're not playing for fun. They are thinking of becoming Tiger Woods. They're thinking of becoming, you know,
the bigger pictures.
Yes, but we have one big problem. You know, we always call sports Temidlalo. It's not really the right thing. If you look at me, I got bent trying to teach these young kids.
So
we
no,
this is business. Unfortunately, we must treat this as business.
True.
Otherwise, for me as a coach, it means I'm wasting my time if you say Temidlalo. And also, government must now maybe take a gamble, invest more money into sports and see if something good can come up. Because if you imagine how many kids we can save taking drugs, crime, will reduce crime. So, you know, and more other funny things we can prevent using sports. And also the young generation can also earn a living. So something needs to be done. It's unfortunate. I mean, I remember 2000, I was still young. After having turned pro, they were talking about sport policy. Every time you hear about that, it's squashed.
All right, Mr. Swana, I like where you're going, but
Yes.
we might put ourselves in trouble because
I'm very sorry, but
Yes.
I've got to highlight all these things.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, someone sitting there out there must actually take note of this.
All right. Now,
As a coach, we need the support.
I want us to talk about the juniors, but to maybe to highlight what you're trying to say is that the Nobutle of today, the Jamie Pennington and MJ, these guys have turned pro now, and all of them, you've seen them just passing.
They came through us.
They came through you, and now where they are now, actually they can compete you. But when you talk about this youngest group, when you talk about between maybe the age of 7 and 10, I want us to listen to them first, then we'll return so that you can answer me one or two questions. Do you see enough support from the parents? But maybe before you answer that, let's listen to them, what they had to say today after the tournament, and within the tournament, did they enjoy the day? How did they see the tournament? This is the youngest group, actually, from the junior tournament that was played earlier on at Eswatini.
Hello, my name is Alwande Manyati. I am 10 and a half years old. I school at Lesotho, and I'm in 5th grade. Today I was playing golf, and the first few holes I did not do that very well. But then as time flew by, I was good. And my coach, my dad, and Tiger Woods, all of those guys inspired me to play golf. And I'm hoping that I'll take it to the next level and I'll become pro. Thank you.
My name is Mapila Gunene. I school at Lesotho Forest School International, and I'm 8 years old.
All right, how was golf today?
Golf was good. Some of the holes, the ball went far away from the flag. Some of them, like Number one, my first hole was good. My second hole was a bit bad, and then the rest were good and bad at the same time.
Okay, how did you find playing with the group that you were playing with, your friends? How was it?
It was good. I enjoyed playing with my friends. I wish I could turn pro until I'm like old. My dad inspired me to play golf. Also Tiger Woods, yeah, and Charlie.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I think I played bad, but not that bad.
When did you start playing golf?
When I was 9,
Who inspired you to play golf?
my dad.
Who's your dad?
Pastor Roger Gunene.
Oh, Pastor Roger Gunene.
Yes.
Do you have an idea that your dad won a tournament last month in Bhavani?
Yes, I do.
How do you feel about it?
I feel really great and excited for him. And that he won something that he hasn't won in for a long time. I started playing golf when I was 9, and I used to borrow clubs, and my dad was the one who thought that maybe I must play a sport.
All right, it's good you're now playing a sport. And where do you want to take this sport to in the near future?
I want to take it to US and America.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes there are shows that once you listen to the commitment, to the passion of some people speaking, you just say no comments. What I like from those clips, there are three things. Credit goes to the team that actually went to cover the kids. First, there's variety. You've got boys and girls. Secondly, I'm getting also that the sport is coming from generation to generation. There's a Manyatsi son there, and it's coming from the Manyatsi, Mr. Manyatsi, who also is a golfer. Pastor Roger is a golfer here at Cooper Center. I'm sure to know him. So it tells you that parents have been playing a key role in supporting their kids.
Very true. You are right. Most of the successful, I would say, golfers, good players, they have good backing from their parents. Okay, you find golfers young, but they don't have the parental backing. But then when they come to us, and then once we realize that, and then we try and fill up the gap. So it actually having the parent behind, it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a group that we talked about earlier on. It's sort of like outgoing in so much saying maybe they are graduating from junior to senior and they are independent at some point. They can maybe have their tournaments on their own. Now, let's listen to them first. When we're done, maybe I've got one or two questions also to ask you, where maybe we'll hear from the likes of Specific from Shlanga and so on. So let's just hear from now the outgoing group of these juniors who were playing earlier on at Eswatini.
Beyimnanzi but nakushisa uthi ngemali lamaningi kakhulu so ngicabanga ukuthi igaluva idlaleka kahle nali cloud but namhla bekumnanzi ngishaye club number 7 so bengacabanga ukuthi ngizophola ibhedi but then ngishayile bengifuna ukuthi because emabhola ami lamaningi ayangaka-left so cabanga ukuthi this time asengiyaka-right and then ngakhona ukuthi ngishintshe le mistake yami ngayishintsha kahle ngajabula ngaphola ibhedi bengasisho ngayo ukuthi itongena but I was confident ukuthi no ngifuna ingene ngifuna kufika ngihambe emaveni njenganobuhle dlamini ngokwami lomncane.
This is Melizwe Mkhize, aka DJ Kuza.
Mkhize namhla ingabe udlale njani Galufa?
Cha ngidlale kahle and quite good, quite bad, but this is a lovely sport Galufa injalo. Sometimes iyalunga, sometimes ingalunga. No, as a young golfer you have to learn. Le sport leso ufuna ufunze ukuthi in other way kuma weather conditions ufuna kubeka so. Sometimes takwanza ukuthi it dry le course, sometimes you have to learn ukuthi udlala kanjani. So for me, today it was just a perfect golf course. This year, if Nanga win the tournament, one of the major tournaments, the Pro M1, and as a young golfer, safunza the sport. So most of the things I'm going pertaining Kaluva, no, funa succeed nje. Nami ngidlale bo PGA Tour, nami ngidlale ama-tours lamanye.
All right, Sabo.
Thank you.
I-golf beyimnanzi iphindze ishisa inema-challenges but nje most of it all ngi-enjoyile.
Okay, khuluma ngoku-enjoya imvula besolo lina igaluva beyiwet ingadlaleki kahle ingabe nje ikhaze injani wena akudlalekile yini kahle kule wet course?
Well, lamanye ama-holes beka-wet but lamanye abe-dry, so kulawa la-dry bengidlala nje kahle ngaphandle kwenkinga. Mina i-golf ngaqala kuyidlala ngisesemncane, so laba labangangami or labanye labancane ngiyaba-encourage ukuthi bete kutoyidlala. I-golf ide i-age, umdzala umncane ugugile, you can come and play.
Beautiful stuff. What I can tell you is that the Kingdom of Eswatini, you and I agree that there is so much time. Now, the results earlier on, Mr. Zwane, maybe just not really to get into the results. We're not going to talk about them. But from what you saw today, before we round up the interview, from what you saw today, were you impressed? Do you see a future with what we have before we round up the interview?
Yes, I'm very much impressed. I see the future, but there are a few areas where we have to put an effort to correct so that we have a brighter future.
Okay. Now, beautiful stuff. Thank you very much, Mr. Zwane, for being here, and your presence is always important to us, just to give us the background of the sport, the outgrowing elements of these so-called young talented golfers, and some of them who are also going to be graduated to play now at the senior level, and how far you've seen them coming to where they are now. A short break with Mr. Zwane. When I come back, I'll introduce our in-house Linda Dlamini, who is here not only to let you know that 2023 is expected to be a better year, but also to round up the results of today's activities. Beautiful stuff. That's what I was unfolding earlier on. So very cool, our in-house analyst. Sengumnika lithuba anivuse. Master. So cool.
Fabrice, it's been a while. Ngiyathi ukuthi on Monday bengilesihlalo lesaphathi kubangala it's been a while. Ngiyakuthola ithuba lokukhulu Fabrice ngivusele ama-loyal viewers. Ngiyabonga nawe Fabrice kungwele hlelo lakho. This day ngiyathi ukuthi kuningi lokwendekile kuma sports over the past weekend, and kuningi futhi lokusawetowendeka this coming weekend, so yeah ungagadza noma hayi.
Asikhulume ngaloko master nala uhlele khona ngathi lo shintsho uthini ngakho.
Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi itinto letinsha leti me and you ngicabanga ukuthi itinto etendekile sikhashanyana lesiningi, itinto letinhle ngihlale ngisho ukuthi thina siyayizama ukuthi umuntu nakahlele ekhaya angabhoreki abuke itinto letinsha. I think lo hola lencola the producer ngicabanga ukuthi naye uyayathi nayita nama-plans lamasha endele wona even nalama viewers nami nawe noma siletha letinto sathi ukuthi oh wow lasihleli khona kushaya imoya ngicabanga ukuthi nalokukhuluma uyakuva nje ukuthi I'm excited.
Now, Master, ngiyathi ukuthi it was your off day, but you took a drive on a very hot day. You took a drive. I know you're a sport person. You just took your beautiful car. You're like, let me drive to Zuluini, see what's happening with these youngsters. Ufigire, you saw what you saw. I want you to take me through the results of the things you saw, as you also tell me the talent of these youngsters.
I think Feb, if Sibugile for the past 3 or 4 years, I personally think these youngsters, some of them sebadlala even nangale senior, yes, ba compete. So ngicabanga ukuthi yes labanye basebancane vele, but labo labasebavele ba compete. Look at bospesihle the two mhlanga zayina ukuthi bakamhlanga bonke, but one sovele uya compete ngale and udlala kahle. Ku previous nakho ngimbonile even and last weekend embabane club abekhona so uyakhona kufunza nakulala abanye lasebabadzala simvile even namelizwe Mkhize naye ngicabanga ukuthi it's been around sikhashanya for quite some time now even though abeng number 4 but ngicabanga ukuthi lokuthi every time nangabe the senior golfers adlala nabo babekhona kunengilela bakufunza kulapha and ke bese singakhohle ukuthi I junior ngala ko B division nakhona uyabona ukuthi the youngsters ngichazo ke Fabrice nangilalela ama interviews alama youngsters uyathi ukuthi at an 8-year-old akhuluma ngendlela ngekuThemba kangaka kunginika sibinzi mina ukuthi we have ama future stars more especially ngala ku golf because bekuna A division B division C division because even na C division uyabona nje ukuthi they bona badlala only a 9 hole and alwande uthophile ngicabanga ukuthi nakhona uyabona ukuthi these young golfers kukhona la yakhona.
Beautiful stuff. Now talking about golf and also there was the SRIC over the weekend and I think when you look at comparing to maybe this older who play business league and who are playing all this tournament they didn't get a chance to play njengalaba bona baqala kuyidlala babadzala but these ones have started at early
for example Jeff Fabrice the eventual winner net pastor because apparently he's a pastor Pastor Rocha Kunene azange adlala ene Nguyelo azange adlala ene junior golf uyiqale asamdzala yabona so kuye uyidlalile igalova as ihobby nje ukuthi ngiyenda nje but kwase kutholakala ukuthi useyawina but for Mduduzi because Mduduzi ku gross waba number 1 kwase kuthi Roger kunet waba number 1 before Fabrice kuhlanganiso konke or before acethe Roger Mduduzi bekahamba phambili labanengi bebacaba ukuthi utagcina ayingcobile but Roger kwathiwa nasekuhlanganiswa kwase uyatholakala ukuthi kunet nguyelo lobuhambe phambili nga67 so ngicabanga ukuthi over the past weekend SRIC monthly mark yeqala kulomnyaka the winner nguRoger wakakunene and nawubuka ukuthi belinile but ema golfers akhona ukuthi asinike the best on the day.
Beautiful stuff. And we just saw the daughter there also mentioning how the father has been supportive, the father being Roger Agne. Now, moving on to tennis masters, there's a team in Zimbabwe. They are competing at regional level. What's the update? Yes, ngivile ukuthi day 1 team bathambe kahle but kuba khona kwabo. What does it say, master?
Fabrice in Zimbabwe kalibuka Bulawayo ema young tennis players ahambile ayos representer as level Eswatini lena ke tournament lena Fabrice is Southern African Junior Championships lengenelwa abadlali labancane balomdlalo akahambi ke kahle Fabrice elangeni lanamuhla labo laba beyingcenye yalemidlalo namuhla abakakhona ukuthi baphumelele so ngingako ukuthi akabili langa lelihle but as liviki because bakhona labanye labatodlala elangeni lakusasa asikathile ukuthi maybe bona bangakhona ukuthi bende ngcono nayo tennis just like golf asibonile over the years bakhona ukuthi babe nema junior tournaments ekwaluseni ebosteki kunema teams asisteki and eZimbabwe bahambe na coach wasesteki lo female lengicaba ukuthi batawukhona ukuthi bafunze something and ke Fabrice akusewo odwa lemidlalo kuphela on Sunday kutaba nemhlangano we executive lokusho ukuthi bonke laba semakomitini in the SADC region bangene emhlanganweni babuke indlela ethuthukisa le sport kubadlali abancane nabadlali abadala.
Beautiful stuff. You can sit with this man and listen to him all night because when you talk about sports, a lot is happening. And let's also not talk about, forget that when it comes to investigative stories, he's a man to tell you the stories. I know this is off record and not really off record, off the topics we're leaving. We've got a minute or two. But we've got the biggest game in the land this coming weekend. Babanewa Swallows and Manzi Wanderers. rumors has it that Wanderers now have found a new director.
Yes.
But nangibuka le thinking ngale tikhona kule team utakhona yini kuba sita?
Fabrice, fortunately for fans eManzini Wanderers, so lokuqala leli viki bayajima badlali beManzini Wanderers bahleli nabo phasi babachazela lesimo babuyela ejimini. Sivile ke ngenteka kusasa or Saturday ekuseni unveil director lomusha. Apparently he's from South Africa. And ke Fabrice, some developing stories. If the South African agcine because personal terms sebavumelene, if agcine onke lama terms banga fike egcineni, one of local businessmen uyakokota.
Beautiful stuff. He's also an Arsenal fan and he's happy. I know what's happening. But what a year it's going to be, 2023. Utsembisani maloyal viewers sahamba master.
Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi kuningi lokwendekako in terms of sports nje general. Sikatsile ukuthi athletics abuye ema national championships siwakatsile. Sikatsile ukuthi njobo khuluma ngale ngeshiya ukuthi ilwandle Arsenal soluhlelo etulo sicongweni iyadlala this coming weekend idlala neTottenham Hotspurs, biggest game on Sunday. On Saturday idlala Manchester United no Manchester City Manchester derby leyo. So ngicabanga ukuthi this coming weekend ema games la khona manengi ngibabona Solos versus Manzini Wanderers kunengi lokukhona.
All right. What a year it's going to be. What we can tell you that the show was about to introduce you to everything that has to do with 2023. Me and Dlamini are going to drive for the rest of the year. It's going to be about shows to shows. It's going to be about programs to programs. It's going to be about also sporting activities to sporting activities. Otherwise, Njoma Sasho Umnyagaro period 2022, even the year previous 2021, even 2020. Solo Siganjar, Sirtalaga Munaz.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected.